Meghan Markle's decidedly sticky future rests on jam, honey and olive oil. Good luck with that. God knows she's going to need it. Our heroine has just spent an excruciating few days kissing in Canada, puckering up to Harry and making the Invictus Games all about her. Much, we hear, to the annoyance of the organisers. But more of the cable actress's toe-curling performance later. First, a more pressing issue. A long and eventful year after the faux launch of her still non-existent lifestyle site, American Riviera Orchard, the Duchess of Sussex is facing make or break time in the cutthroat world of US retail. Anxious to make money out of its $100 million deal with Meghan and her husband Harry, Netflix is forcing its hand and insisting on finally opening for business. To coincide with the release of With Love Meghan on March the 4th, the streaming giant will put the Markle range of produce on sale at its stores in two of America's biggest shopping malls. So, for those thrilled by all those lovely treats and trinkets featured on her Twee TV show, a chance to fork out for them in person over the counter. Hands up who can see them lining up round the block in a feverish bid to snap up Meg's expensive jars of jam, honey, coffee, wallpaper and pet shampoo. No, me neither. Meanwhile, as per the Duchess's latest attempts at image making, otherwise known as papering over the cracks, have been embarrassing to witness. Less is more is not a phrase in Her Montecito Majesty's lexicon. Why does she always have to go so cringingly over the top? OK, after the failure of the Gruesome Twosome's solo appearance initiative, the new old idea is to once again put on shows of togetherness. But at the Invictus Games in Whistler, Canada, did she really have to lock lips with Harry quite so much? The oh-so-public displays of affection were clearly all part of a strategy. Sitting in the stands, Harry was heard to mutter, "Give me a kiss then," and his wife Julie obliged. It all seems so contrived, so painfully theatrical. So look at me, what a picture, what a photograph. Ms Markle going all out to prove that, contrary to President Trump's contention, she's not terrible. The jury's out on that one, Meg. And as for the litany of bullying allegations dating back to her palace days in Britain to Vanity Fair's recent devastating 8,000-word demolition, a few smoochy poses for the cameras will hardly be enough to erase the damage done to Meghan's terribly tarnished brand. Nor will they blot out the widely derided spectacle of the Sussexes' photo op trip to the smouldering remains of fire-ravaged Los Angeles, where they were dismissed by critics as disaster tourists, grief grifters and tragedy vultures. Meghan's ludicrous Instagram video boasting about getting a Billie Eilish T-shirt for a teenager who'd lost hers in the blaze added up to another shocking own goal. Creating social media content out of California's catastrophe to deliver carefully choreographed, self-enhancing publicity was, to say the least, horribly tone deaf. No matter how many times she filmically plants a smacker on her hapless husband, the appalled public won't forget how Meghan tried to turn the inferno to her own advantage. But in cold Canada, while pompous Prince Harry hit out at the weak moral character in the world in a veiled denouncement of President Trump, Meghan had much more to worry about. As in the jam sale prospects at the king-sized King of Prussia Mall in Philadelphia and Texas's massive Dallas Galleria. If nothing else, you have to admire Netflix's loyalty to a less-than dynamic duo who haven't exactly brought the dollars rolling in. The company's head of content, Bella Bajaria, insisting she's excited about With Love Meghan. At least someone is. And now this optimistic bid to sell Meghan's olive oil to Middle America. Will Jane and John Doe buy into this? Will it really shift the goalposts? Or is Netflix just keen to prove that when the influential Puck podcast listed its mega money contract with the Sussexes as one of the worst in Hollywood, it was wrong? Either way, March the 4th is Meghan's day of reckoning, and it draws ever closer. Tick, tock, tick, tock. So how do you think that day of reckoning is going to work out for Meghan, Samara?
Like everything she does, a massive misfire. It's not going to go well. I mean, I was feeling really sad because I saw Princess Kate visit a women's prison this week, and she was going and focusing on early childhood and a cause that's really close to her heart. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, Meghan is sort of shoveling cheapo olive oils and towels.
It won't be cheapo. That's the problem. It will be astronomically expensive. You know, twice as much as any other olive oil.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, though. I think
it will be, trust me.
Well, the thing is, she was also just sticking her tongue down Harry's mouth at the Invictus Games, just not acting like a royal should at all. But then again, she isn't one, so I wasn't surprised. I just think that this Invictus Games ceremony was a total miscalculation on her part. She was taking basically all of the attention and putting it on herself. Where was the attention for the veterans? Look at that. I mean, she's literally, she thinks that she's massively above them.
What do you mean she's not a real royal? That's the Duchess of Sodall too. Sorry.
Kevin O'Sullivan takes aim at the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. His tirade follows a predictable pattern filled with tired tropes and unsubstantiated claims. O'Sullivan paints Meghan as a scheming social climber and Harry as her hapless victim. He throws around phrases like sticky future and massive misfire. This commentary is not new. It reflects a larger pattern of negativity from certain corners of the British media. O'Sullivan's attacks rely on innuendo and speculation, lacking substance. He twists narratives to fit his conclusions, ignoring contradicting facts. This is not journalism. It is a deliberate attempt to mislead and damage the Sussexes' reputation. It is disheartening to witness such hostility towards a couple who have spoken out about the harmful effects of this negativity. O'Sullivan's segment reeks of desperation, a last-ditch effort to discredit Harry and Meghan. He seems threatened by their independence and refusal to conform to outdated expectations. The Sussexes' decision to step back from royal life challenged the status quo. It is crucial to recognise these attacks for what they are, baseless attempts to discredit and demean. We must not allow these harmful narratives to go unchallenged. It is time to hold those who perpetuate them accountable for their words and their impact. O'Sullivan's prediction of a sticky future for Meghan couldn't be further from the truth. Since stepping back from royal duties, Meghan has thrived, embracing her independence. She has secured deals with Netflix and Spotify, showcasing her business acumen. Her podcast, Archetypes, challenges stereotypes and has garnered critical acclaim. Meghan's resilience and commitment to amplifying marginalised voices are evident. She is defined by her ambition and drive, not her royal title. O'Sullivan cites a recent Vanity Fair article as evidence of Meghan's supposed downfall. However, a closer look reveals the article's inherent bias and reliance on unsubstantiated claims. The piece paints a negative picture of Meghan, relying heavily on anonymous sources and recycled gossip. It perpetuates harmful stereotypes about ambitious women, portraying Meghan as calculating and manipulative. This narrative is not only inaccurate, but also damaging, reinforcing sexist double standards that women in the public eye often face. The article's reliance on unnamed sources further undermines its credibility. Without proper attribution, these claims hold little weight and cannot be verified. This type of reporting relies on speculation and hearsay, creating a distorted and unfair portrayal of Meghan. It is essential to approach such articles with a critical eye, recognizing the potential for bias and the dangers of accepting unsubstantiated claims as fact. We must demand better from our media, urging them to prioritize factual reporting over sensationalized narratives that perpetuate harmful stereotypes. Section 4. a family in crisis, shifting the blame to the Sussexes. O'Sullivan's assertion that Harry and Meghan's actions are a massive misfire conveniently ignores the larger context of the royal family's own struggles. The institution itself faces numerous challenges, from accusations of outdated practices to internal conflicts. To blame the Sussexes for these pre-existing issues is not only unfair, but also distracts from the real problems at hand. The monarchy must confront its own internal struggles and adapt to the changing world. Instead of acknowledging these complexities, O'Sullivan and others like him choose to scapegoat Harry and Meghan. They paint them as the source of all the problems, deflecting attention from the institution's own shortcomings. This tactic is both disingenuous and unproductive. It is time to move beyond this simplistic narrative and engage in a more nuanced conversation about the future of the monarchy. Blaming individuals for systemic issues will not bring about meaningful change. Section 5. The disinformation accusation, a case of projection. Ironically, O'Sullivan accuses Harry and Meghan of waging a disinformation campaign against the royal family. This accusation is not only baseless, but also reeks of hypocrisy. It is the British tabloid media, with their history of intrusive reporting and fabricated stories, who are guilty of spreading disinformation. Harry and Meghan have consistently spoken out against the harmful practices of certain media outlets, highlighting the toll that relentless negativity and falsehoods have taken on their lives. Their decision to step back from royal life was, in part, a direct response to this toxic environment. To accuse them of spreading disinformation while ignoring the very real damage inflicted by the tabloid press is absurd. It is a blatant attempt to silence their voices and discredit their experiences. The Sussexes have repeatedly called for accountability and a more responsible approach to reporting. It is time for those who perpetuate harmful narratives like O'Sullivan to take a hard look in the mirror and acknowledge their own role in spreading misinformation. Section 6. Diana's legacy lives on. Harry's unwavering commitment. O'Sullivan and others who criticise Harry's actions fail to recognise that he is simply following in his mother's footsteps. Princess Diana was a tireless advocate for those less fortunate, using her platform to raise awareness about important issues like HIV/AIDS and landmine clearance. Harry has inherited his mother's empathy and her unwavering commitment to making a difference. His work with organisations like Centre Barley, which supports children affected by HIV in Lesotho and Botswana, is a testament to this legacy. Furthermore, Harry's outspokenness about mental health, a topic often stigmatised, aligns with Diana's own willingness to challenge societal norms. He is continuing her work of breaking down barriers and encouraging open conversations about mental well-being. To criticise Harry's actions is to disregard Princess Diana's significant contributions. He is honouring her memory by using his platform to advocate for those in need and to challenge injustice. Section 7. Supporting truth and compassion, rejecting the O'Sullivan narrative. Kevin O'Sullivan's latest attack on Harry and Meghan is nothing more than a tired attempt to discredit and demean a couple who dare to live life on their own terms. His narrative is riddled with inaccuracies, harmful stereotypes, and a blatant disregard for the truth. It is time to reject this type of toxic commentary and embrace a more compassionate and understanding approach. Harry and Meghan are not perfect, but they are two individuals striving to make a positive impact on the world. They deserve our support, not our scorn. Let us challenge the negativity perpetuated by the likes of O'Sullivan and choose to amplify messages of hope, resilience and compassion. We must demand better from our media, urging them to prioritise factual reporting and to hold those in power accountable. In a world often filled with darkness, let us choose to celebrate the light. Let us stand with Harry and Meghan, supporting their endeavours and amplifying their message of love, understanding and positive change.